Fellas, if you lack confidence, you are done before you even say hello to a woman. So if you are lacking in confidence and you want to learn how to build that up, in this video, I'm going to give you strategies for building confidence and making sure that women notice you before you even approach them.
Gentlemen, let's broaden our mind.
I'm MarcusVanHorne, your dating coach on a mission to help men build and refine the skills needed for dating and successful relations with women. So if you're a man looking to level up his game when it comes to women and dating, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you do not miss it when I drop new content. Let's get into it. Let me ask you something. Have you ever seen a guy walk into a room and instantly command attention without saying a word? Like, dude doesn't have to say anything, doesn't whatever, and just automatically, like, people just kind of like gravitate or look his direction, right? And you've seen women do this, right? No need to flex. He's not doing anything. It's just his presence, his power. That, my friends, is confidence. Now, flip it. Let's look at the other side of that, right? You ever seen a guy fumble the moment, not because he wasn't good looking or smart or kind, but because he couldn't believe in himself long enough to let women see who he really was, right? He kind of like folds and his energy takes a back seat and it kind of gives off this air of uncertainty. That is the silent killer right there. That is lack of confidence. So today we're diving deep into why confidence isn't just some feel-good buzzword. It's the bedrock of success with women in life. And as a man, it's something that's critical for you to own and work on. So let's get into why confidence is essential, right? It's attractive, period. It signals to a woman that you're secure, you're self-aware, you're capable of leading your life and potentially hers too, right? And women are looking at that. They kind of want to get a sense that this guy has a certain viability about him, this alpha male status where he can control a situation, he can handle stuff and in a woman's life. And they're looking for that. Do not be fooled by that, right? A man with confidence doesn't seek validation. He radiates certainty. He doesn't need to convince a woman to like him. He invites her into his world. And if she's not interested, he keeps it moving with style and with grace. All right, and here's the trap. Lack of confidence doesn't just reduce your chances, but it kills your presence before you even open your mouth. All right, let me give you an example. Let's say you're at a bar. You see a woman you're into. Now, the confident you would make eye contact, walk over with a calm smile, stay relaxed and start a conversation. Now, the insecure you will overthink that situation. You'll hesitate. You wait too long. Then you approach with sort of like a shaky energy and it is game over from that point right there. She will feel that uncertainty. And trust me, women pick up on that like radar. That energy radiates from you before you say a word. Now, let's get into the 4 types of confidence that a man needs. Let's break it down. Because it's not just about swagger. There are 4 major domains every man needs to build confidence in. Let's go through them. 1, physical. Your body is your temple and your tool. When you feel strong, fit, and capable, you move different. You don't need to be a bodybuilder. You don't need to be all ripped up with an 8-pack, 6-pack, 8-pack, whatever's going on nowadays. All right. But owning your body creates a quiet sense of power. If you are feeling sloppy, you're feeling lethargic, you're feeling bloated, you don't have the chest, the biceps, triceps, traps, lats, whatever, delts, if you're not feeling fit, that's going to affect your confidence. Every time you put something on, your clothes may not fit well. You don't want to wear, when the warm weather comes out, you're not going to want to open up and sort of be that guy with the nice body that women are looking at. So that's going to affect your confidence. And that's going to seriously bring you down. You are going to be hesitant. And with the physical also comes your dressing, your wardrobe, how you put yourself together. How confident are you in the way you style yourself? I have another whole video on that. So if you want to see that, you can look for that link somewhere up here. Now, next, number 2 on this for confidence, mental confidence. This one I kind of place above everything. I really think this should be, I'm not putting these in any particular order, but I think this would be very, very high up there, right? This is your mindset. It's your ability to handle stress, make decisions, and stand on your beliefs, right? A mentally confident man doesn't fold under pressure. He adapts, adjusts, and keeps moving. You want to be intellectually sound. You want to be a gentleman who is reading and paying attention to literature, paying attention to politics. You have a certain sense of philosophy, history, world events, cultural events, understanding other cultures, worldly things. A worldly man is always going to be engaging and intellectually stimulating for a woman. And women, believe it or not, They are attracted to intellectual stimulation. You've got to go through a woman's mind before you go through anything else. Point blank, period. Gentlemen, take this and understand it. If you're not continually feeding your mind with books and resources and learning things and becoming a wiser person, you're going to fail when you come across that really high value woman who actually has, 2 degrees or PhD or a master's and whatever it is. And she's actually able to have great conversation with a guy. She's not looking for a guy who can't have conversations outside of the latest Netflix series or what's going on in the podcast world. Like, you're going to have to be able to have real engaging conversation in order to keep a woman. And the only way you're going to build that confidence is by making sure that you are actually taking the time out to grow in that particular area. All right, let's move on to the third one. Third, sexual confidence. All right, this one gets a little tricky. Okay, sexual confidence. Let's call it BD energy. All right, y'all know what I'm talking about. Right? This isn't about having experience or having whatever, being, blessed in certain areas. It's about being comfortable in your own skin, knowing your worth in the bedroom and outside of it. And it's being attuned to a woman's needs without losing sight of your own. Fellas, let's just keep it real. If you were born, I guess, less endowed than the average male, or you came up a little short, God didn't hook you up there, right? It's obviously, when you get into a situation with a woman and it's time to do the do, and you've got to, reveal yourself, you got to reveal your package. Of course, your confidence is always going to just go down, no pun intended, at that moment, because you're lacking the confidence. You know what it feels like for that to happen. Now, if obviously you weren't shortchanged in that area, when it's time to, you're just like, you can't wait because you feel that sense of, I know what I've got. Now, it's not just also size, right? There's also how well you handle yourself, right? In the bedroom, how well you please a woman, how well you satisfy her, how well you stimulate her physically. Do you know what you're doing with what you got? Do you know how to hold back, or are you letting off too soon, right? All of these things are going to play into your confidence, right? If you're somebody who's letting off too soon, 1 minute you're done, right? You have to work on that. You're not going to be confident that you're going into a situation with an attractive woman who's decided to give you some. You're going to be nervous. You're going to not have the right energy. And that is not a situation to have bad energy. Okay, so you've got to deal with your sexual confidence, and you got to build that up. Now, let's move into number 4, financial confidence. This is not just how much money you have, how much money you make, but it's how you manage, grow, and think about your money. A broke man with a plan will beat a rich man with no discipline every time. Money is a tool, and being confident with it shows you can build, provide, and protect. Each of these feeds the other. When you build in one, you build in all. So I had a video where I talked about the fact that women aren't necessarily attracted to money. It's not that they just want money. Yes, there are plenty who do. Okay, fellas, we know there's plenty of gold diggers who are strictly looking for the bag, right? But there's something to be said about women, especially women who have their own, especially independent women who are successful and have their own money and their own finances are taken care of, and they're stable and they're secure. These women see a man with money in terms of, this is a successful guy. This is a guy who is disciplined. He's got some fortitude, mental fortitude to accomplish what he's accomplished, which has afforded him the luxury of cash, which has afforded him his lifestyle. So they see that and they equate that with tenacity, with drive, ambition, and that's what they're attracted to. So from a financial standpoint, you've got to have your stuff in order. It doesn't mean having a lot of money. It just means having some security in how you actually handle your finances and your investments. Now, let's get into some strategies as far as how you build up these things. So the physical, the mental, the sexual, and the financial. Physically, don't need to tell you much here. You guys can go on YouTube, you can search all sorts of training videos, but you need to be training consistently. You need to have a nutrition plan in place, right? You don't need to become The Rock, but you do need to move your body. You need to clean up your style. You need to groom yourself, dress with intention. Again, I have a video on that, and I'll be doing plenty more where we talk about your dressing and your style and how that affects you when you're out there dating. All right, you don't have to wear a tux. You don't have to always be in a suit, but you need to own yourself the way James Bond would when he walks in a room, right? So your body, your nutrition, taking care of all that stuff is going to build your confidence. And I got news for you. Even if it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks of working out, like really committing to working out, your confidence will start to build. You may not see, you're not going to get down to 15 or 12% body fat in 2 or 3 weeks, right? But whatever your goal is, if you spend 2 or 3 weeks really working at it, you're going to feel your confidence start to rise because you're going to feel better about yourself. The smaller gains are going to build confidence, which is going to provide that momentum for you to keep going and getting better and better. Let's talk about the mental now. This is pretty straightforward. And again, this is one of the most important things I stress is the mental. Read, reflect, learn. Confidence comes from competence. Read journals, meditate, limit your time in toxic echo chambers. I talk about this again on my channel. I talk about the fact that if all you're watching are YouTubers and Instagram, TikTok videos where people are arguing and bickering about relationships and about how men are no good and women are no good, like if that's your thing, that's not good for your brain. That's not good for your energy, right? You have to literally find material, find resources that are going to provide you motivation, going to find you stimulus. I'm doing another video that's going to have books that I talk about that are critical for any man, any gentleman to actually own and to actually have read. So we'll get into that. So look for that video. Stay on the lookout for that one. All right, but you've got to be reading. You should keep your mind engaged in intellectual pursuits on a regular basis. You should not be going to bed every night and not have learned anything or not studied something. You want to keep your mind sharp. Let's get into the sexual. Sexual. You got to ditch your ego. You got to ditch your ego. You got to focus on connection, not performance. You got to communicate. You got to be present. You have to learn about women. You have to learn about their physical anatomy. You got to understand it. You got to put time and effort into understanding women's desires, their pleasures, how they are wired. You have to know these things. You can't simply go by, well, I've been doing it this way for years, and you haven't actually taken time to learn a few new things. There's always stuff you can learn. It's fascinating. There's always something you can learn. Women are complex creatures, both biologically, physically and mentally, and sexually. The way those two things connect with women is totally different than with us. You need to understand it. So read books on the subject. Find out about the women's anatomy. Understand where the G-spot is and how these things work and what's the best way to handle certain situations. Understand and learn. That's going to build your confidence when you get into these situations, no matter what, no matter how big, small, or whatever your situation is, brothers. You're going to be much more confident if you know what you're doing and you know what you're going to deliver. All right. Financially, last one. This is pretty straightforward. Budget, save, build multiple income streams. Period. Get educated. Get educated. Follow people like Ramit Sethi or dive into, Rich Dad, Poor Dad for the third time if you haven't read it. Know where your money is going. Make it work for you, not against you. And remember this quote by William Jennings Bryan. Destiny is not a matter of chance. It's a matter of choice. You have to make choices. You've got to do things that are going to allow you financially to build up whatever you don't have. You're going to have to build it up. And that sometimes is a matter of going back to the mental. That's a matter of reading and studying. And a lot of things they don't teach in regular school as far as debt and taxes and tax law and how to handle things and leverage certain situations in companies and LLCs. They don't teach a lot of that stuff. So you've got to put commitment into finding the resources and actually learning that on your own. That's going to build your financial confidence, and that's going to go a very long way. Confidence isn't handed out. It's built brick by brick, day by day, fellas. Confidence isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up as you are, knowing you've done the work, and standing tall regardless of the outcome. Muhammad Ali, my favorite, one of my favorite athletes of all time, favorite inspirational figures, said, quote, "I am the greatest. I said that even before I knew I was." Women feel that energy. Marcus Aurelius, one of my other favorites. I read meditations on a regular basis. Quote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find your strength." All right, so that's it. Confidence, brothers. If this hits home, don't just sit on it. Start building today. One rep, one book, one bold move at a time. And if you want more real talk like this, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. Drop a comment. Let me know which area of confidence are you building first. Let me know where most of your confidence comes from. It's like, what are you super confident about versus what you're not confident about and what you need to work on. This is MarcusVanHorne reminding you, be cool, be clear, be confident, stay focused, be dangerous, gentlemen, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.